Hello, my name is Whirlwind Bull Yellow Bear. I live in the Fort Berthold MHA Nation in North Dakota. I grew up mostly in Whitfield my whole life. But yeah, that's where I'm from, based out of North Dakota. So what got me into this work with men and boys was I would do a little survival camp for these boys. And a lot of times, like, I noticed there was no males in their lives. They were either single moms or grandmoms raising them. There was like absence of males in their life. I knew how fun it was to be outdoors, fishing, hunting, and all that stuff. So, I'd want to share that with all these young boys. And I worked in with recovery too, but like I always wanted to do prevention. Like, how can I instill something into these young boys so like it's easier when they're young men? Like, how do I instill like being respectful, how to conduct yourself, carry yourself, how can you help, how can you be of service, that kind of stuff. So I would do these camps for these boys, and I would hear the conversations they would have. They'd open up, and I'd have to kind of take them to the side, or ask them if they're okay, or hearing the pressure that these moms have. And I get these boys only 2 full days, but it's a half a day, 1 full day, and another half a day. And then their moms and grandmas like, teach my son how to be a man, or teach my boy how to be a man. And I was like, I can't teach your boy how to be a man in 3 days. Hearing their desperation, like they're, please, I need help. And then going to school, coming back with my psychology degree, and like I'd do again, work with recovery, and I'd hold men's talking circles for the community if they wanted to, and host a community sweat every week for the community, people in addictions, people who are recovering, just people who needed help. I don't know how it came to be. I was into this work, but to me, working with the children was like, I guess, a doorway, and that's like my thing. Like, I want to work with a lot with the youth. It's important because we need to make a space for these men, talk about their healing, talk about what happened to them, all those things they've been holding on to. They may be a little hesitant to come at first, but if you keep hosting it, be consistent, maybe what I'm doing isn't working, but maybe let's say this person over here is doing something and they really like that, and then encourage them with that. It allows men to start their healing process. And once they start the healing, they begin to show up for their families as a better husband, a better dad. So we have to provide that stuff, and for hopes for that to take place. And if it wasn't for, gentlemen like you guys, it'd be pretty lonely in this work, knowing that there's no other guys out there doing this work. So we want to try to like inspire other people and inspire other men to do stuff in their communities. It's not necessarily the teaching them the survival skill. That's always a skill they're going to have, not to take away from. But the importance is like unplugging them from their devices, getting them out in the nature, and letting them just be kids without their devices, seeing them laugh, seeing them joke around, seeing them not cuss, be helpful around. I was like, that kind of stuff they're going to hang on to. And like, with science, they say it's grounding. So they're out in the wilderness, out in nature, and that's getting them to like build their shelters, all these little techniques of survival skills. But in all actuality, they're sleeping on the ground. They're grounding. They're right next to Mother Earth, telling them like our relatives who aren't in human form live in these trees, to give them that same respect. We're in their home, and like just kind of teaching them like respect. How would you like that if somebody came into your home and is being disrespectful and being dirty? And like, so we clean up after ourselves. You always want to be clean. You always want to leave it the way you found it. So don't mess things up. Fix things. If you see something, do it. And that kind of trickles into like, as you grow up to be a man, like, I need to get this done. It needs to be taken care of. I'm not going to wait for anybody. So those are the kind of things I want to like, when I talk to them out there, hopefully it sticks and adheres to their thinking. What I say may not work for somebody, but to me, what healing looks like is, like I said, like something that you've been hanging on to for years, things that you've been pushed down, that you were taught to push down, not to express your emotions. Don't cry. Men don't cry. Men, all this, that. But just seeing the change, like seeing them showing up, seeing them be a part of their families, like that's healing. They obviously healed. Are not healed, but they're in their process of healing. Women have been, working on their healing for a lot longer than men. So, how is men going to step into that space where they're often viewed as perpetrators and violent offenders? And if you're going to step in that space, you have to step in that space with respect and nothing to gain from it. What do you don't gain anything from it. You're there to help. You have a gift and you want to share it. That gift doesn't belong to you. Whatever you're going to give, that's for whoever you're helping. So if you're going to step into this place as a man, you're not there to date, you're not there to, you know, personal gain. If you're willing to work on healing and all that healing, what it, you know, boils down to is just showing up where men were absent.